Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
So I was looking at the comments on my channel, and someone actually went out of their way to complain about my recent content on a community post. Yeah, not on a video. They actually went out of their way to comment on a community post about how I'm starting a second channel. At I Don't Believe in Salad writes, "Kinda sad that your whole channel revolves around representation and its matter and stuff. How about stop pandering?" Thanks, I Don't Believe in Salad. That was so cool. I don't believe that you have any idea how YouTube works. I keep making these kinds of videos because I enjoy making them and people obviously enjoy watching them. It's as simple as that. People like being able to see themselves represented in media and being able to relate to the characters. People like learning about other cultures or things that they might not have known about. And I think people also enjoy hearing me complain about shipping culture. And the response on these videos has been absolutely unbelievable. I've gained almost 1.3 thousand subscribers in the past month, and the day that I'm posting this, I actually just passed 3,000 subscribers! Holy crap, you guys! So, really quickly, I just want to thank all of you for the incredible amount of support and all the comments on the videos. It's been amazing, and I look forward to making way more videos for you guys. And on that note, I want to talk about LGBTQ+ representation. I know, I'm super late, it's not June, I apologize.
Crikey. I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just said that!
It's really amazing to see just how far we've come with LGBTQ+ representation in children's media. Just a few short decades ago, we had nothing like what we have today. This obviously has a lot of benefits, similar to what I've discussed before on this channel. Positive representation is hugely important in helping kids who are LGBTQ feel accepted and supported. It establishes them as normal. And on that note, it's important to have main characters, supporting characters, and even background characters who are LGBTQ+. And I already know I put the warning at the top of the video about how I'm not putting up with any hate here, but I also want to add that I'm not going to put up with anyone who wants to yell some nonsense about how Disney is actually homophobic and how this is all performative or pandering or something. The representation we have in the shows that are airing today isn't something we should take for granted. It's something that had to be fought for, and I promise you, the people who make these shows care very deeply about the representation they put into them. I'm sure a lot of you are probably here because you want to hear me talk about the Owl House, and we'll get to that in due time. But first, we need to go back in time to 2005. So the first notable Disney Channel animated series to have any LGBTQ+ representation was The Proud Family. Created by Bruce W. Smith. What the heck is Witch? Is this even a Disney show? It is? Alright. Okay, I've never seen this show, but I guess one of the producers said in 2016 that Irma was a lesbian and only went after guys who were out of reach so that she'd never end up having to date one of them. I don't know anything about this show, but I know somebody in the comments would get mad at me for not mentioning it, so there, I mentioned it. Okay, so back to The Proud Family. Michael Collins has a very flamboyant personality with a strong interest in fashion. But he's also great at basketball. He's funny, kind, and laid back, although he will absolutely talk a little smack if needed.
Booyah! Call me bus driver, cause I'm about to take you to school. Chump, that was luck.
He's very good friends with Penny and her friend group in the original series and even more so in the reboot. But we'll get to the reboot in a second. In the original series, he's very obviously gay-coded, and since this was 2005, that was as much as they were allowed to do. An episode from the original run titled Who You Calling a Sissy was actually pulled after its original airing, but I can't actually find any evidence of any sort of backlash against the episode in one direction or another. They put it back up on Disney Plus in 2020, so I'm gonna run with the assumption that they were just being paranoid. The episode starts with the girls watching the boys play basketball while they all talk about who they're going with to the upcoming dance. And La Cienega is going with Michael, who's making a dress for her. The boys ask Michael if he wants to join the game of basketball. Michael is, like I said, really good. And that's when one of the losing team members says,
Dang, I can't believe we lost to a sissy.
The girls are all shocked to hear this insult and are surprised to hear Michael be so chill about it.
Michael, aren't you gonna say something?
Who cares? We won! Woohoo!
Later, Penny goes home with Michael, and I think it's worth noting that Oscar Proud, Penny's dad, whose main defining character trait in most episodes is obnoxiously overprotective dad, at least when he's not being a complete deadbeat of a husband.
Fine, Oscar. I'm not going to force you to do something so distasteful as going out dancing with your wife.
Thank you, honey. That's why I married you.
Has absolutely no problem with Michael, a boy, going upstairs to Penny's room with no supervision. So yeah, it's 2005, but I think Oscar knows what's up with Michael. Penny tries to talk to Michael about what happened, but Michael's more concerned with Penny's wardrobe.
Michael, Tookie called you a sissy in front of all your friends and you didn't do anything. Why?
And look at all these red shoes. I don't care how many times you click your heels. You won't make it back to Kansas in these, Dorothy.
Oh my god, Michael is literally the best character. The next day, Michael is excited to be showing La Cienega the dress he was making.
Ooh, y'all gonna be the most fashionable couple at the dance.
So what do you think, La Cienega?
I think I'm canceling my order.
Why? You don't like the dress?
Oh, the dress is great. It's just that, well, you're not.
What the f***? Why on earth are any of them still friends with La Cienega? After La Cienega dumps him, Michael faces more bullying.
That wasn't funny.
Sure it was.
And Penny continues to be frustrated that Michael won't stand up for himself.
Michael, aren't you mad? You've been used, abused, and refused. You're a chump to let people dump on you like that. Okay, I'm doing it too.
Penny is a genuinely great friend. She's really sweet and supportive to him and offers to go to the dance with him instead.
Look, if you want, I'll wear the dress to the dance.
Thanks, but it won't make the same statement unless your date is wearing a matching suit jacket.
Then I guess I'll have to go with you.
Really?
I'd be honored.
His locker gets vandalized by the Gross sisters, and he continues to act like this isn't bothering him. But then, La Cienega hides in a dumpster after she sees a monster coming for her. And not the Gross sisters either. Someone
Bigger, stronger, and more stylish.
The payback continues across the school, and everything that happens mirrors what each person did to Michael, so Penny quickly figures out what's going on. And at the end of it all, we find out that he basically turns into the Incredible Hulk.
Michael! Stop!
I would if I were Michael, but I'm not. Who's a sissy now?
I'm a sissy.
Although, Dejanay references Candyman later?
Doing straight Candyman on us.
That would be a very different episode.
Be my victim. You don't know how it feels to be ridiculed because you're you.
Well, I'll tell you, Tookie. If being a sissy means you're a good student, a sensational designer, a fabulous basketball player who schooled you on the court, and a loyal, caring friend, then I'm cool with it, 'cause that's who I am.
And Michael feels way better after actually standing up for himself.
I feel great. I finally stood up for myself. You were right, Penny. That's all I had to do.
Everyone apologizes for how they treated him, but it's clear that they're all mainly just terrified and don't actually feel any guilt for their actions.
Yeah, hey, Michael, I mean, you cool with the Gross sisters? Anybody give you grief? We got your back. All right, everybody, break it up. It's over.
I especially don't think he should be giving La Cienega the time of day because seriously, La Cienega can go f*** off forever. But I guess they wanted him to still be able to interact with the whole friend group in future episodes. For the sake of simplicity, I'm actually going to jump forward to 2022 and the reboot/sequel series, The Proud Family Louder and Prouder, right now as opposed to covering it chronologically. But I'm also not going to spend a ton of time on the reboot because it's a modern take on the original show, and my issues with Penny's core friend group being kind of terrible aside, they did a really good job of updating everything, and that includes the LGBTQ representation. Michael continues to be the best, most fun character on the show.
This is my dad got a call from Penny's dad day.
What? How did you do that?
I stay ready. I don't get ready. Here, let me show you, boo.
Michael, you gotta teach me that.
Seriously, what an icon. The show's creator, Bruce W. Smith, said that the biggest changes to the show were how they tackle gender identity, racial identity, and quote-unquote wokeness. Not only is Michael more flamboyant, fashionable, and fabulous than ever, but we also got Barry and Randall in the episode Father Figures. In 2010, Phineas and Ferb featured Clay Aiken in the classic special Summer Belongs to You. And that's actually the most canonical LGBTQ representation in the actual show. But of course, the episode Bully Bromance Breakup is extremely gay-coded. And also, Vanessa Doofenshmirtz was almost certainly many kids' cartoon crush. Girls obviously included. Oh, and of course, Richard O'Brien, creator of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, plays Phineas and Ferb's dad.
Well, this isn't much of a horror movie. Where are the rock and roll musical numbers?
Kenneth,
Dr. Scott!
Janet!
Fred!
Rucker! Janet!
Dr. Scott!
Janet!
Fred!
Rucker! Janet!
Candace?
Phineas! Candace! Isabella! Ferb!
Candace!
Phineas! Candace! Isabella! Ferb!
Candace!
Phineas! Candace! Isabella! Ferb!
Candace!
Phineas!
Alex Hirsch has said time and time again that they had wanted to put more LGBTQ representation in Gravity Falls, but S&P made them cut it. Probably the most notable example of this is the Love God. This scene was originally supposed to have two old ladies kissing. It was sweet and casual, and I knew instantly that it was going to turn into a huge fight with Disney, so naturally I left it in. The note came back immediately. Please revise. I responded with a one-word answer. Why? This basically broke the censors. The show also featured Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Durland, who were implied to be gay for pretty much the entire series.
Are you okay? Can I get you anything?
Edwin Durland, you are a diamond in the rough.
And thankfully, the standards started to change, and they were actually able to confirm that Blubbs and Durland were indeed a couple. In 2017, the Star vs. the Forces of Evil episode, Just Friends, featured same-sex couples kissing in the background. If that sounds mundane, that's because it kind of is. But hey, a milestone is a milestone. And we later got confirmation that Jackie Lynn Thomas is bisexual, which, you know, checks out.
Oh, hey, I've got somebody I'd like you to meet.
Bonjour.
Chloe, meet Marco.
Oh, hi. How do you guys know each other?
We met in France. She taught me all about the beauty of French architecture and how to do sweet parkour off it. Montre Louis, Chloe.
D'accord.
She's so cool.
Voila.
Now I'm showing her the coolest of Echo Creek life. Skateboarding and pain pepper tacos.
Also in 2017, Doc McStuffins featured a lesbian and interracial married couple, Thea and Eddie, voiced by Wanda Sykes and Portia de Rossi, respectively. These two characters would be the first same-sex couple featured in a Disney Junior series. I'm not going to go over every Disney Junior series that's had this kind of representation, but this one was a big deal. Jeremy Blacklow, who is the director of entertainment media for GLAAD, told Insider that the Doc McStuffins episode was a major turning point for executives who lived in fear of obnoxious conservative groups like 1 Million Moms threatening boycotts. 2018's Marvel Rising Secret Warriors introduced America Chavez, who is a lesbian and has two moms. She, of course, would go on to appear in the MCU proper with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That year also saw Star Wars Resistance, which featured Orca and Flix running the Office of Acquisitions on the Colossus, with Orca doing the negotiations. Although the two of them being a gay couple is never explicitly stated in the series, and this was only ever confirmed by one of the show's producers on a podcast. But perhaps most notably in 2018, Big City Green's co-creator Chris Haughton confirmed that Alexander and Terry are a couple.
Tonight on Alexander Kitchen. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do something with this. The judges are screaming at me to hurry up. I can barely hear myself think. I have to julienne the carrots, chop the onions in triplicate, and start my ganache. I am at my breaking point. But that's when I realize I forgot to add the bouillon to the stew. Oh, what a relief! This stuff looks disgusting. Who'd want to eat this? Let's just order in.
I'm going to skip around a little bit and talk about Amphibia next. Amphibia premiered in 2019, but most of the LGBTQ representation was in Season 3, which aired in 2021. Season 3 introduced Allie and Jess, collectively known as the IT Gals.
IT Gals, just two girlfriends who really love robots.
Cool. Season 3 also gave us these wonderful background characters.
Hun, look behind you. No, Tyler, I will not clown face you.
In the finale, Sasha was confirmed to be bisexual, and General Yunan and Lady Olivia became a couple.
You know, I wouldn't mind settling down in a quiet swamp like this. It's slow, the people are friendly.
And it's far away from the countless enemies I made when I was General Yunan, Scourge of the Sand Wars, defeater of Ragnar the Wretched.
I know, sweetheart. We all know.
Matt Braley also confirmed that Mayor Toadstool and Toadie became a couple as well. In 2020, the DuckTales reboot introduced us to Indy and Ty, who were Violet's dads.
Sorry I'm late. I was helping an elderly woman cross the street. Woo! That's my sister from a couple misters.
Also, Sam King confirmed that Penumbra is a lesbian.
I'm sorry for the bad date, but you're really cool. And even if you hate me, I don't want to have to be your mortal enemy, and—
What? No, we are not enemies. I just do not wish to date an Earth male.
Also in 2020, Amber Vantage, who was a storyboard revisionist on Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, revealed what many fans of the show had already figured out, that Cass was gay-coded and had feelings for Rapunzel. The staff on the show made a point of giving her massive lesbian vibes. But of course, 2020 was also the year that The Owl House premiered on Disney Channel and was a massive step forward in terms of LGBTQ+ representation. I remember when the show first came out and Lumity was a crack ship. Seriously! People shipped Luz and Amity as a joke, thinking, yeah, this goofy dork and this stone-cold serious girl who maybe has a soft side, they'll never actually get together. And then, Luz started to break down the walls Amity had put up. Walls put up in service of what her overbearing mother wanted. What she only thought she wanted. Walls that had previously caused her to push her best friend away. Walls that were just making her miserable. I could probably do an entire video just discussing Amity's character arc, but I simply don't have time right now. Then, on August 8th, 2020, Enchanting Gromfright aired, and Lumity was officially a thing. Dana Terrace confirmed that Luz is indeed bisexual and Amity is a lesbian, making them the first bisexual and lesbian main characters in a Disney animated series.
So, who did you want to ask out? Oh, it's not important.
Their relationship would continue to grow, with awkwardness from both parties as the two of them grew closer. In Knock Knock Knockin' on Hootie's Door, Hootie spends the whole episode trying to help people, and one of the things he does is put together a tunnel of love for Luz and Amity to ride through together. So I guess that means that Boiling Isles amusement park history is similar to that of Human Realm amusement park history if Old Mill/Tunnel of Love rides are a thing. Sorry, theme park nerd. Anyways, the episode ends with Luz and Amity officially becoming a couple.
Do you want to go out with me? No, I was so ready. I'm sorry, you can say it. Okay. Amity Blight, do you want to go out with me? Yes! Okay!
Why is this still so scary?
I don't know.
Like I said, I don't want this video to become entirely taken over by Lumity, but I absolutely love their relationship. They have a more honest and mature relationship than many adults do in real life. Like in Follies at the Coven Day Parade, where Amity finds out that Luz lied to her about finishing the portal and seeing her mom, and she confronts her about it.
Maybe you can tell me about this? Don't worry, I haven't watched it, but you did finish the portal door. You did see your mom. And it looks like it didn't go well. I'm sorry. I know this situation is crazy, and I'm okay taking things one day at a time. But I can't help if I don't know what's going on.
And then, in Thanks to Them, when she finds out that Luz introduced Bellos to the Collector and feels responsible for everything.
I couldn't hate you, Luz. The fact that you still stand up for us means enough to me. I know things are scary, and I don't know what the future holds. But it would be so cool if you were a part of that. But no more hiding, okay?
And of course, one of my favorite moments is in Watching and Dreaming, where in the midst of a nightmare playground created by the Collector that's preying on all of Luz's worst fears, what detail makes her realize that this is all a dream and everything is fake?
I challenge you to a witch's battle! I challenge you to a witch's duel!
I challenge you to a witch's duel, not witch's battle. And the Amity I know would never misquote the Good Witch Azura.
She's such a dork and she loves her girlfriend so much. It's so cute. But of course, the Owl House has several other LGBTQ characters, including Willow's two dads, Harvey and Gilbert Park, and of course, Rain, who's non-binary. Lilith was also confirmed to be aromantic and asexual, and the Collector uses he/they pronouns. Is that everyone? I think that's everyone. And I have to point out that the Boiling Isles is so queer-friendly that even an objectively awful person like Odelia Blight isn't homophobic.
Don't you talk to my girlfriend like that!
girlfriend? Oh, no, that won't do. We'll find you a new girlfriend, someone who's not on wanted posters everywhere.
Oh, and speaking of moms, Camilla is a freaking amazing mom. I love her so much. But that brings us to the elephant in the room. The Owl House's shortened third season. On May 17, 2021, The Owl House was greenlit for a third and final season, consisting of 3 hour-long specials instead of a full season of 20 22-minute-long episodes. On October 5th, 2021, in an AMA on Reddit, Dana explained the show was given a shorter order not because of ratings or COVID, but rather because business people at Disney believed it, quote, didn't fit into the Disney brand. They said that this was the case due to the show being serialized and having an audience that, quote, skews older. This, combined with budget cuts due to COVID, led to a shortened third season to wrap things up, and no possibility of a fourth season. A lot of fans, unsurprisingly, have read into it that this happened in bad faith. Because, yeah, I can't deny that it looks bad. Especially since this was after Blue Sky was shut down and Nimona was put on ice only a few months before. Of course, thankfully, Disney sold the rights to Nimona to Annapurna, and it was able to be finished. And Nimona is not related to Disney TVA, but I would like to point out that Disney could have just let the film die, but they heard the outcry from everyone who wanted to see the movie get finished, and they did the right thing by selling the rights. I know a lot of people would argue, well, Disney could have finished it themselves, but no, that's not how it works. All of their animated films take several years to produce, and they couldn't just throw Nimona into production at Feature Animation. Some other studio had to be willing to pick it up. And again, you should really be thanking Annapurna, not Netflix, for this. Anyways, I can understand why fans want to read ill intent into the executive decision to shorten the show's third season, but that doesn't take into account how these shows get made. S&P standards have changed, and the show was pitched and approved with all of the LGBTQ+ representation in mind. Lumity was planned from the beginning of season 1, guys! The crew was given warning that they would only get 3 hour-long specials for season 3, and were able to rewrite season 2 as a result. If the show was actually shortened due to homophobia, even just by one executive, why would they have been given that? Why wouldn't they have just pulled the plug and ended the show without warning? Not only that, but so many other shows have gotten completely screwed by Disney that honestly, I think it's kind of insulting that so many people are still complaining to this day that The Owl House was treated like garbage. Garbage doesn't get 3 hour-long specials as a series finale premiering in prime time. Yes, it's a bummer. Yes, there's things you can tell that they wanted to do more with but didn't have time. Yes, it was a very short-sighted decision on behalf of the executive who made it. But I still think we got a great finale, and Disney Channel made a point of treating each episode of the finale like an event. And seriously, so many other shows have been treated so much worse. The Owl House was ultimately just a victim of circumstance. Wrong network, wrong time. If it had premiered a year earlier, I'm almost certain we would have had a full third season. If it had premiered as a Disney Plus original, probably the same thing. Amphibia Season 3 was pretty much the last thing that had its budget locked before COVID hit. I'd also like to point out that it seems like Disney Channel has learned from their mistake with The Owl House and is making a point of not repeating it. A lot of Molly McGee fans are still pretty anxious about whether or not we'll get a third season, since nobody's gotten any word one way or another. But basically what's been said is that Disney's watching to see how Season 2 does before making a decision on a Season 3, which is a strategy that would have absolutely benefited The Owl House. Instead, they confirmed Season 3 before Season 2 even started airing. They were trying to predict things too far into the future because budgets were tight. Speaking of Molly McGee, let's talk about the ghosts in Molly McGee. On October 3rd, 2021, right after the show premiered, Bob responded to a fan's question saying that there is indeed LGBTQ representation in the show, which starts small and later includes main characters, and urged them to let it unfold naturally. But of course, I already talked about how a lot of fans got caught up in their expectations shipping Molly with Libby and Andrea in my In Defense of Ollie Chen video. Season 1 introduced us to Miss Roop, the history teacher at Brighton Middle, played by Jane Lynch. Miss Roop is exactly the type of lesbian who never shuts up about her wife, and it's adorable.
Our first internship is Pam's Cake and Bake. That's a good one, because Pam is super sweet. And I'm not just saying that because I married her.
We're also introduced to Jeff in Season 1, who constantly spells his name.
I got a hot misery mocha, extra whip for Jeff.
That's you.
Nope, that's Jeff. J-E-F-F. I'm Jeff. G-E-O.
Stop spelling your name and get back to my problem.
And in Season 2's Afterlife of the Party, we finally find out why. The episode starts with Molly helping Jeff plan a big party that he's gonna throw.
Now, Jeff, I recommend at least one balloon per guest, but I'll let you in on a little secret. You can't have too many balloons. Doot.
This is top-notch stuff, Molly.
Yeah, I know.
Optimal balloon to guest ratio is just the most Molly McGee thing ever. I love her so much. Scratch says it's too early for this and leaves to go get coffee, and he ends up meeting Jeff, spelled J-E-F-F. J-Jeff invites Scratch to his party happening at the same time, and Scratch asks Molly for advice.
Your friend should go to whichever event they committed to first.
But what if they really, really want to go to the other thing without hurting their friend's feelings?
Well, the book says the only acceptable excuse is being sick.
Fake sick, huh? That's interesting.
Nobody said fake. Don't purposefully misinterpret the wisdom of the friendship handbook.
He fakes being sick, Molly scolds him for this, and ends up having to cover for him.
Jeff's never going to find out because you wouldn't tell him and hurt his feelings. Now would you, Ms. McGee?
It's a friendship paradox. Fine. But I am doing this for Jeff, not for you.
But you're still doing it, right?
Yes.
Scratch has a great time at J-Jeff's party until he realizes that G-Jeff showed up. He spends the whole rest of the party trying to hide from G-Jeff until he's finally caught.
Jeff? G-Jeff? I could explain, brother.
Oh, you had a miracle recovery and made it to my party.
Wait, what? Your party? This is Jeff's party. J-Jeff. Not you, Jeff.
Yeah, it's our party. Jeff is my afterlife partner.
Wait, you and him? But hey.
Oh, I know. I get your confusion. But Jeff spells it with a J, while I spell it G-E.
I know how you spell it. How did I not know you two were together?
No idea. You're at our anniversary party.
Yeah, I do not know how I missed that.
I don't have anything else to say about this episode. That was just ingenious setup and payoff. My god, we waited a whole season and change for that setup and payoff, basically. Brilliant. Just mwah. Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur has a whole bunch of LGBTQ plus characters. There's Casey's dads, Isaac and Antonio Goldberg Calderon.
It was simple, sure, but when we looked around at all of those faces,
the faces of our chosen family,
we realized we had everything we needed because we got to share that day with the people we love.
It was perfect.
Brooklyn, a student at Lunella's school who's a trans girl.
Hey Lafayette, rain some science down on us. Those sodium pyroborates sound fierce.
We also get LOS 307, a supercomputer who refers to themselves as a non-binary, just like Ty, another student at Lunella's school.
I'm LOS 307, they-them pronouns, pretty please.
Hey, just like Ty!
See? Just like Ty. And last but not least, in Haley's On It, Scott's younger sister Becker is a lesbian.
Whoa, did you hear that, Chainsaw? She's totally into me. Someday, I'm gonna kiss Haley Banks.
So, it's been a long road to get from Generation 1 Michael and the Proud Family, I'm sorry, I don't think which counts, to where we are now. But I'm really glad that we've got the kind of representation that we have now. Shows like this with positive representation of the LGBTQ plus community, and especially LGBTQ plus kids, are so important. And it's for kind of the same reasons I've already talked about with cultural representation and periods. The difference is that your culture is something that you can choose to embrace or not, and periods are just something that you can't control. Sexuality and identity isn't something you choose. You kind of think that you do, but really you don't. It's just a part of who you are, and it's something you have to embrace. The idea that some people have that shows with strong LGBTQ plus representation, like The Owl House, Amphibia, and The Ghost and Molly McGee, are brainwashing children to want to be gay or lesbian or trans. It makes absolutely no sense. There's no basis in reality. Zero. Media can help affirm someone's sexuality or identity, but it can't change it. If it could, we literally wouldn't be having this conversation. Disney movies have had cisgender heterosexual romances at the forefront of their films for a century. The Owl House featuring a homosexual romance front and center can't make a straight person gay any more than The Little Mermaid featuring a heterosexual romance front and center can make a gay person straight. And I know that because the original author of the story and the person responsible for writing the unforgettable lyrics for the songs in the Disney movie were both gay! And as much as the awful, bigoted people have gotten louder and louder, the fact still remains that those people are the minority, and they're on the wrong side of history. Kids deserve to be safe and loved and affirmed in their identity, and unfortunately, not all of them are. Those kids need all the love and support that they can get, and the idea that kids are too young or kids won't understand is just completely wrong. And at the end of the day, love is more powerful than hate. It always will be.
But Jeff's party was actually Jeff's party, so it all worked out in the end. Night-night!
Candace?
Phineas! Candace! Isabella! Ferb!
Candace!
Phineas! Candace! Isabella! Ferb!
Candace!
Phineas!